As for my group, our video presentation will be based on lack of respect in schools in PNG, which is one of the major attitude problems in PNG, especially in schools. Lack of respect in schools refers to behaviors that disregards the feelings, authority, or rights of others, and also disrupting the learning environment. It can manifest in various ways, such as students talking back to teachers, ignoring rules, bullying peers, or showing indifference to others' efforts. Currently, most primary and secondary schools today are facing serious disrespect issues demonstrated by students towards teachers, and there are many causes and impacts of the issue mentioned earlier. As I have said earlier, this video presentation will be based on disrespect faced by schools, generally all schools in PNG, and only major causes and impacts of disrespect will still be discussed. With that, I am only introducing the topic of this content, and my colleague Miriam will talk about the causes of disrespect, and Jaymie will talk about the impacts, and Alma Liviko will talk about the behavioral theories to use as strategies to solve the issues, and Wynonna Tabi will summarize and conclude our presentation.
I am the second speaker, and I'll be talking about the causes of lack of respect in schools in Papua New Guinea. So the first point is home environment. Students learn respectful behaviors through modeling and consistent discipline at home. If they don't see respect being demonstrated in their families, they may not understand its importance. For instance, when parents don't enforce discipline or object to their child's misbehavior, it signals the child or the student that misbehaving is acceptable. The next point is popular culture and media influence. Children and teenagers are exposed to media content that normalizes and even glorifies disrespectful behaviors towards figures in authority like teachers. This influences students to react negatively towards authority. The third point is poor teacher-student relationship. Teachers need to model respectful behavior, actively listen to students, and acknowledge their perspectives to foster mutual respect. When students don't see respect being demonstrated by teachers, it leads students to not understand the importance of respect. For instance, when teachers show favoritism, students may feel unfairly treated, leading to resentment and undermining the teacher's authority. The fourth point is cultural conflict. PNG's diverse cultural landscape, with its many tribes and languages, has a rich history of traditional values and customs. So students with different cultural values and traditions attend school, and there's a cultural clash that leads to lack of respect displayed in schools. For example, in some culture, male have all the power over females. So male students from this kind of culture may not show respect towards female students or even female teachers and other authority figures. And the last point is negative peer influence. In order to gain acceptance into a particular group, disrespectful behavior becomes a norm within certain social group. And the students, they find that acting out gives them a sense of power or attention, which leads to lack of respect both for themselves and others. guest speaker who will respectively present my points about the impacts caused by lack of respect in schools in Papua New Guinea. I'll be specifically talk about 5 of the major impacts caused by disrespect in schools in PNG. Firstly, it is the learning environment that is disrupted. The home environment in Papua New Guinea significantly influences students' behavior and attitudes before they enter the schools. Disrespect behavior such as talking back, ignoring instructions, creating disturbance, and disrupting lessons tends to hinder other students' learning. Teachers are then forced to spend more time in managing the behavior of misbehaving students than concentrating on teaching. As a result, this can disrupt the learning and weaken the overall school environment. For example, some secondary schools in PNG students play loud music, disturbing other students who want to concentrate in class. This kind of behavior tends to make the teacher focuses more on managing the behavior in the classroom, affecting the learning process. Secondly, teacher stresses increase. Constant, Constantly dealing with disrespect students is a major cause of increased teacher stress. When students frequently show rude behavior, ignore instructions, or challenge a teacher's authority, it creates a hostile and frustration from the teacher. Teacher may feel disrespected, powerless, and unsupported, which lowers their confidence and motivation. As a result, teacher may find it hard to manage the class, maintain discipline, or lack focus on teaching. And thirdly, teacher-student relationship disrupted. Poor teacher-student relationships in PNG schools can lead to mistrust, disobedience, and poor classroom behavior, which negatively affect learning and academic performance. Disrespect makes it harder for teachers to trust students. There won't be a positive relationship among teacher and students, making it harder for the teacher to mentor students, guide them, and educate them in an effective manner, making the classroom management become more difficult. For instance, some students in schools around PNG often talk back and walks off the classroom when lessons are still on progress. This type of behavior makes the teacher lose interest and avoid giving the student extra help or guidance. Moreover, rise in safety and security issues rise or increase in the schools. The rise in safety and security issues in school has seriously effects on both students and teacher. When teacher is not addressed well in schools, it can lead into bullying, violence, or threats. Students may often feel scared, which will make them absent frequently in class, leads to poor academic performance. Also, teachers may feel unsafe or stressed, leading to burnout and higher chance of leading their professional aside. Eventually, it will lead to an unsafe and insecure environment for both the teacher and the students. And finally, school reputation damage. When there is no respect in schools, the reputation of the institution can be seriously damaged within the community, the province, and possibly the nation as a whole. Without respect, a school loses its dignity, sense of community, safety, and excellence. As a result, the school develops a bad image, attracts negative attention from the public and media, making a decrease in enrollment of school students annually. For example, many schools in Warea, especially Bugendi, Bumayong, and Malang secondary schools, involve themselves in violent classes on school grounds and in public places, causing serious injuries, and some even died instantly. In that manner, many parents began to fear for their children's safety and stopped transferring their children to this school.
My colleagues have already talked about the causes and impacts of disrespectful behaviors in the schools of Papua New Guinea. Okay, using social learning theory to promote respect in schools of Papua New Guinea. Disrespect in schools is a widespread challenge, but there's a way to address it effectively. Albert Bandura's social learning theory suggests that students learn behavior by observing others, whether teachers, peers, or media. If disrespect is prevalent, students are likely to imitate it. But when they see positive role models demonstrating respect, they tend to adopt respectful behaviors. Okay, how to apply student learning behaviors in schools of Papua New Guinea. To foster a respectful or respective school environment, student learning theories can be applied in several ways. One of the ways are teachers as role models. Educators must consistently model fairness, patience, and constructive communication. When students witness respectful interactions from the teachers, they learn to mirror them. For instance, a teacher always listens to their students' concerns, treats everyone equally, and encourages an environment of mutual respect. Number 2, student leadership influence. Older or more responsible students can guide younger ones by setting a standard for academic and social behavior, by taking lead in showing respect to staffs and fellow students. The number 3 point is positive reinforcement. Schools should actively recognize and reward respect through praise, certificates, or small incentives to reinforce its importance. The 4th one is media and real-life examples. Teachers can share positive stories from media or respected public figures to highlight the benefits of respectful communication. Number 5 is community and family involvement. Respect shouldn't stop at school gates. Engaging parents and communities through discussions, workshops, and awareness programs reinforces respectful behaviors at home and beyond. Therefore, by embedding social theories into daily interactions, schools can cultivate a lasting culture of respect and teachers, student leaders, and communities consistently model positive When teachers, student leaders, and communities consistently modeled positive behaviors, students internalize these values, leading to a more harmonious learning environment.
Okay, so far so good. We have heard about lack of respect faced by schools in PNG, or we can say disrespect faced by schools in PNG. Before we finish up the video, I would like to do a general summary of what has been discussed so far by my colleagues. To start off, disrespectful behavior is a behavior that demonstrates a lack of consideration towards other people's feelings, thoughts, and opinions, beliefs. It can also be considered as being rude to other people. Disrespect also demonstrates a failure to value someone or something appropriately, and by something we are referring to school property, any school property. Disrespect is known to be deliberate, however, it can also occur unintentionally due to lack of awareness and understanding. This means that what is considered disrespectful depends on the variety of cultural norms and social situations that we have. Also, it can also depend on individual sensitivities. Individual sensitivities basically refers to a person's personality and how he or she understands or perceives disrespectful to be like. Now, as mentioned, there are a lot of causes and impacts to disrespectful behavior. However, we have chosen only 5 of them because according to our context, we're talking about schools in PNG. So These are the 5 major causes of disrespect faced by schools, disrespect that occurs in schools. So the first one is cultural conflict. Cultural conflict basically refers to different cultural background of people coming together and staying together in a school. So yeah, in this case, it basically, let's say for instance, it is rude to stare at someone, or not stare, but look at someone in the eyes when they're talking. So in this case, the teacher tends to misunderstand the student. Also, the second one is limited or total absence of parental guidance and community support. So in this case, we're talking about parents neglecting their parental duties to address disrespect in their home. And so when students go to school, they behave however they see fit or however they behave in their own homes. Likewise, for community support, some communities, they don't tend to value education as much as other communities do, and so they ignore this sort of behavior that happens, and so it even frustrates the school, the student leaders, and the administration, the teachers, everyone. The third one is media influence. Media influence basically refers to the type of media content that is being exposed to students, teenagers. Some media content tends to normalize disrespectful behavior, and in some extent it even glorifies disrespectful behavior. And so when students are exposed to such media content, it influences their attitude and their behavior in a negative way. Cultural gender issues is the fourth one, which basically talks about how we treat each other according to our cultures and customs back at home. It talks about this. It talks about how this culture, the way we treat ourselves, tend to influence the way we treat others in the schools, and so this can affect how male students treat female teachers or even female students as well. Now the final one is negative peer influence. In order to become part of a group and to be accepted, students tend to normalize disrespectful behavior so that they can be accepted by their friends into that certain group. So these are the 5 causes of disrespect. Now on to the impacts or the effects of disrespect. The first one is learning environment is disrupted, which means learning environment, the teachers lessons is disrupted, and other students find it hard to learn. They cannot concentrate, their minds are distracted, it causes an hindrance to their learning in the learning environment. And so teachers are sometimes asked to focus more on managing the misbehavior than to actually do their job as teachers. The second one is teacher stress increases. Now, dealing with disrespectful behavior is emotionally stressful. So yeah, it emotionally drains teachers, and it stresses them out. Like, they're not there to deal with that much of an excess of disrespect. Their job is to teach, and so when they deal with this kind of stuff, it drains them out. They're tired, they're drained out, they're stressed, they can't focus and stuff. The third one is teacher to student relationship is disrupted. This talks about the positive relation that possibly might occur between teachers and students, but disrespectful behavior comes in between that makes it hard for a teacher to trust his or her students. And so teachers can't they can't teach effectively because they don't trust any other students in there and they find it uncomfortable, stuff like that. The fourth one is there is a rise in safety and security issues. The fourth one basically talks about when disrespect is not being controlled at its lowest level and it goes out of hand. It can also lead to harassing, bullying, and sometimes often ends in violence. And so when this happens, it raises a concern of safety and security for both teachers and students. Now, the final one is the school reputation is damaged, which basically talks about when disrespect goes out of hand, the school's reputation is damaged, and there's a decrease in the enrollment of students basically from year to year, and then there is less financial support for the school. Like nobody is willing to financially support a school that has misbehavior problem. Okay, so we have also, as mentioned by my colleague, we have also searched for behavioral theories that could help in addressing disrespectful behavior in schools. And so there are no best behavioral theories that could help because it depends on the level of difficulty faced by different schools. So in here we have found one theory that has the best effect on disrespect when used. And this theory is known as social learning theory, written by Alex Bandura. In this theory, it assumes that students learn disrespect through observation or by observation. They tend to imitate or mimic behaviors modeled by their positive role models. And so it also provides ways to how to apply this theory in order to address disrespect. And there are several ways. The first one is being teachers. Teachers, they need to consistently demonstrate respectful behavior towards students, even though as hard as it may get, they need to consistently do it. The second one is the school administration must encourage student leaders in the school to set good examples and mentor young students towards positive behavior. Now, the third one is there should be consistent reward and praise for students showing respectful behavior. In that way, they will motivate other students to exhibit respectful behavior as well. Now, the fourth one is they can also use on a daily basis. They can also use positive stories from the media or any real life events that highlights respectful behavior in the stories. So it can also be told in class so that they get to know what the moral of the story is and they understand that it is all about respectful behavior in class, out of class, and anywhere that they go. Now the final one is this refers to the surrounding community and the parents. They can be able to help by promoting a respectful culture beyond the boundaries of the classroom. Now, this is not something that can be done in the school, but they can help in such a way that when students when students go out of the school, they can be able to exhibit respectful behavior as well. Thank you, and that brings us to the end of our video. I hope you all liked it.